Alright, so this is the podcast now. And for some reason, I'm going to be really awkward now, just because it started and other people will now listen to this. Which is fine.
Okay. Well, so the topic was Primarchs.
Yeah.
What is the Horus heresy?
The topic today is if the Horus heresy was it turned out differently. If different Primarchs went different ways. And
that would be very intriguing.
If sorry, it's raining outside. I'm sorry if you can hear that. But if the Primarchs that stayed loyal in canon, Robert Gilman, Sanguinius, went to Chaos, and the Primarchs that went to Chaos in canon stayed loyal. So Horus stayed loyal. And I mean, there are some things like, I envision Angron would have gone to Chaos anyway. You either have to rejig the lore a lot, or not, or...
No?
I mean, the only thing I could think of Angron being envisioned differently is if he just went to a different world and didn't get the Butcher's Nails, or he got the Butcher's Nails taken out. Those are the only two ways I can think of him getting through it.
Actually, I think there's a possibility that you see the Blood Angels flaw.
Yeah, the Red Thirst.
That they are aggressive as well.
Yeah.
And I think if they went Cornate instead, then I could imagine Angron and his Marines. Were they World Eaters?
Yeah.
World Eaters. Okay, great. I think I could imagine them going the similar way that the Blood Angels did. Just fueling a hatred for Khorne so strongly that instead of going for Khorne, they would fight Khorne with the same hatred in which they would fight for Khorne.
Well, I mean, as the saying goes, Khorne cares not from when the blood flows, lest it flows. Because,
Yeah, but they would still kill his...
They're still basically serving Khorne. Even by fighting him, they still are. So, first things first, let's get a list of the Primarchs up. And decide which would go to which.
What's with Lorgar?
Lorgar was, he worshipped the Emperor as a god. And when the Emperor told him to not worship him as the god, he got really pissed off and decided to worship Chaos instead. Which, makes loads of sense. But he did anyway.
That's really, really, really short and down.
I always kind of envisioned him as like a pissy chap, like
Although.
or something.
Yeah. Right, so Horus. In this, I envisioned that, because he got made War Master, and he didn't like being War Master very much, and he said Sanguinius should have been War Master. I envisioned that perhaps when Horus is getting that vision by Erebus, I think, and Magnus comes to talk to him psychically, I envisioned that Horus accepts what Magnus says and goes, okay, I'll stop doing this, prevent this evil future from happening, and I'll give the control to Sanguinius, because he'll sort it out. Sanguinius becomes War Master, something happens, goes to become Cornate, and then a lot of other people join him.
Actually, if what happened in the book, which one was it? The one where Sanguinius battled with Slanesh and the Corny forces.
Oh,
what were they called?
I don't know. Was that wasn't Fulgrim?
No, Sanguinius.
Yeah, no, Sanguinius. I was thinking of, because, Fulgrim, Slanesh. I mean, maybe Sanguinius could go the full, he could go Chaos Undivided.
Found the book. It's Fear to Tread.
Fear to Tread. I haven't read that one.
Holy shit, it's where Maris originates from.
Well, then I should read it. I don't know. I didn't know Maris was actually in canon for ages.
You didn't? Oh, okay.
Well, no, I
That
did.
makes a lot of
I
sense.
did, but I didn't know how big of a role he actually played. Which even then isn't really... It's not huge. He's not like Khan the
It's
Betrayer.
incredibly huge. Without him, Sanguinius would be chaos.
Well, yeah, but it's not like, he's not as important as, I don't know, Horus. Or Rogel. He's probably more important than, I don't know, friggin' Corvus Corax. Why are the Raven Guard even a fucking legion?
The thing is, he's just a space marine, so of course he won't be as important as Primarchs or entire legions.
Well, no,
I
he's
think he's one
important.
of the most important space marines in existence.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Anyway, back to the topic of conversation. So, so Horus, he stays loyal. Lehman Russ. Khorne?
Maybe Tsinj.
Zinch for Lehman Russ.
Very unlikely in my opinion.
Yeah.
Exactly, because it's so unlikely.
Yeah, no, that's... I reckon...
I can honestly say I think it's like almost guaranteed that if the Space Wolves and Russ were to go over to like Chaos, it would probably almost guaranteed to be Khorne.
Or Chaos Undivided.
Yeah, or Chaos Undivided, yes.
Because he loves war, and I think Khorne, because he likes honour, and Khorne is honourable. He likes honour too. Ferrus Manus, I've been toying around with this. I think either Chaos Undivided or Nurgle. But I really don't know. Because the Iron Hands are very anti-chaosy. They're very, purge the filth from your body. Ugh. But the demon...
I also remember that for example, the Night Lords actually do not directly consider themselves like part of chaos per se.
And the Alpha Legion is probably working to actually bring down chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in this, I envision the Alpha Legion actually decide to side with chaos, and so actually join the Emperor for exactly the same reasons they joined Chaos to help Chaos win. They want the Emperor to win and the galaxy to just feed the Chaos Gods forever.
Why can't they just, be simple and do things directly like everyone else? Oh wait, no, because then they wouldn't be the Legion, why would they?
True. Alright. Ferrus Manus. What would he be? I reckon Nurgle, because Nurgle is often people who fear death and want to become strong and tough and things. Go to Nurgle, surprisingly. Because of some reasons. I don't really understand Nurgle in how he supposedly makes you have an extra toughness point in the game.
What happens is the plagues he gives you, they actually just make it to where you don't really feel the pain of the wounds you get. So
what, like a vaccine against bullets?
Hey, I'm gonna kind of for example, a plague marine is a hell of a lot harder to kill than, for example, a normal space marine, just because he can take a hell of a lot more damage than it's because he the bloated infected flesh.
Yeah, I guess. So because in this I envision that Ferrus Manus, instead of not really liking the Iron Hands, the actual hands that are made of iron, he instead, actually Necrodermis, but instead he likes them. He wants his chapter to become stronger than anything else, and so joins Nurgle.
Perfect. Sorry. You finished.
I'd finished. I don't know if anyone else was speaking.
Okay. Actually, I think Slanesh is getting nothing so far, so perfectionism would work for Slanesh as well. So, Fulgrim was just a perfectionist, and that was probably what got him to Slanesh in the first place.
Yeah, but did you see his hair? Did you see his hair?
Stronger, and maybe improve it.
Fulgrim's hair was pristine and immaculate and his armor was bright pink, how do you not fall to Slaanesh?
How did Sanguinius not then?
I mean, because his armor was red and gold, and those colours are pure except red.
Yeah, but if I imagine if Fulgrim and Sanguinius ever fought, they would just stand next to each other and compare who's got the more brilliant hair.
Yeah. Right.
Because they both do have that.
So, Vulcan, he's an interesting one. Because he's very intelligent.
Teenage then?
Yeah, maybe.
Teenage could promise to find some relics or whatever.
I mean, are there any other Tzeentch ones?
I actually think that Vulcan and the Salamanders might actually be more towards like Chaos Undivided, because they don't really fall into a like generalized category. For example, they have a system of honor, they're warriors, they are intelligent, but at the same time, it's not really just one or the other. Whereas, like, for example, the Thousand Sons, they are obviously, going to go to Tzeentch because of just the way they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Rogel Dawn.
Nurgle.
Nurgle?
Yeah, because how better fortificate if your soldiers live longer?
I don't think you really... Well, maybe, but... I mean... I don't know about Rogel Dawn, because he's...
It's very hard envisioning him falling to chaos. It's just like...
He's literally as anti-chaos as the Emperor. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Maybe he would die.
He'd probably die.
I mean... Maybe he'd see the future or something and realise that the Emperor would lead to the downfall of all mankind. Instead of being loyal to the Emperor, he's loyal to mankind and so joins Chaos or something. But, yeah, it seems unlikely that he actually would fall to Chaos. But then again, I guess it seemed unlikely Horus would fall to Chaos. I mean, in this we can change quite a bit. Like, Angron pretty much has to not have the Butcher's nails. Otherwise, he's fucking corn.
I stand by what I said before. The Blood Angels slaughtered Khornates because they were so fucking... I mean, they felt the Black Rage.
I mean, the Red Thirst and the Black Rage, yeah, definitely.
And they still fight Khorne, though, because they are so loyalist. And I think the same could just go.
Well, no, because if the Blood Angels just went full-on Black Rage permanently, like they did at that one place with the one demon thing...
yeah, that's actually in Fear to Tread. That's what the book is.
It doesn't Meros actually sacrifice himself to
exactly. So that Sanguinius
he's important.
Doesn't have to sacrifice himself.
Right. So that's important. So what if he didn't here, and Sanguinius didn't sacrifice himself either, and the entire regiment, legion went.
Then it would have been Khorne. It would have been Khorne. Then the thing is, that was basically he had the choice between if he did not sacrifice himself, his sons will forever be caught in the Black Rage, and he will lose almost all of them, except for those few ones that were in the room with him. And if he did sacrifice himself, they would fall to Slaanesh.
I reckon he wouldn't. Well, in this, I reckon Khorne...
He was pretty much about to sacrifice himself when Meros just basically jumped into the pit so that his Primarch couldn't.
I don't know. We'll keep that one on the books. Like, so far, all of these have been. Lionel Johnson. I reckon... I don't know. I don't actually know much about Lionel Johnson. So you guys will have to do most of the arguing.
I actually know a little bit about, I actually know quite a bit about the Dark Angels and Lionel Johnson. I have to say that if you were to... Well, the way that Dark Angels are now is already pretty, secretive.
Yeah, they might go Tzeentch.
That's actually what I was getting at. It's either that or they probably... I actually think Zeech, personally.
I think
It's also
Zeech.
possible. Yeah.
They're the plotty chapter. They plot a lot. The one
They might actually replace, like... Wait, hold on a second. Something's going on over here.
Yeah.
In the meantime, what about Gilliman? I think he's the elephant in the room because I can't imagine.
Yeah, I could. Because, Imperium Secundus, he could always, get jealous of the other War Masters and Primarchs and be like, I want my own Imperium, and then, go to Chaos and try and make one. I mean...
Like, he would be Lorgar. That would be quite funny, actually.
I reckon Chaos Undivided.
Yeah, so he would be Lorgar. Have you read the book about Lorgar? It's just called Irradian.
No, I haven't. I've read none, except Wrath of Iron, which barely counts. I mean, that does some stuff on the Iron Hands, and that's about it.
In that book, it's shown that Gilliman and Lorgar are pretty much the opposites. Like where Lorgar is.
They hate each other.
Yeah, well, Lorgar
like Battle
is
of
Lorgar,
Cal.
Gilliman is Gilliman.
Oh yeah, I know about that.
Maybe Gilliman doesn't. Maybe Gilliman doesn't hate Lorgar, but Lorgar pretty certainly hates Gilliman because Gilliman destroyed the Holy City and everything.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I vaguely remember that the world that Lorgar was raised up on actually had, chaos tainted stuff on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Corpharon was utterly chaotic, pretty much.
So that would mean, for example, he might worship, the Emperor, but then when the Emperor tells him no, he just says screw it and goes off up sticks toward chaos, but to make sure Lorgar wouldn't turn, it would have to be either he wasn't
maybe the Emperor would...
religious to begin with, or the Emperor allows him to worship him, which would be kind of counterintuitive to the imperial truth that was, around at the time.
Yeah.
What if it was simply because of his hatred to Gilliman? Like, if Gilliman joined Chaos, Lorgar would join his side that is not Gilliman.
Well, maybe Lorgar would go, okay, I'm not worshipping you, Emperor, and then continues to worship the Emperor in secret. Or just blatantly, like in Skyrim. It's like, Talos.
yeah, like that. Oh, man, and divine.
Oh, I'd love to edit that speech. So instead of him saying Talos, you just edit in a line from Dawn of War 2, where someone's saying, the Emperor. That's...
Actually, I have that as my ringtone. I could probably make that.
You probably could. Right.
Yeah.
Jagatai Khan, I reckon Slanesh, maybe.
Yeah, because Doom Rider.
Yeah, because Doom Rider, basically.
Yeah.
Because, he obviously gets a lot of pleasure out of bicycling.
Yeah, basically be faster, have your hair on fire,
whenever someone says Space Marine bikes,
that sounds good.
I always imagine Space Marines on pedal bikes with a single bolter on the front, just pedaling through the battlefield. Yeah, I reckon Slanesh for him. So what? We have one Tzeentchian, one Slanesh person, a few Nurgle maybe.
I think the proper term is Slaneshi.
Yeah, no. I don't know why I said whatever I said.
You said Slanesh person. I think both terms are right, because in the books both terms are used.
In the books every term is used, and none of the canon really makes sense or follows itself.
Oh, fuck the continuity, I know.
Yeah, the continuity isn't existent.
I guess so.
Right. So now we've got to go through what would actually happen. So...
Wait. If everybody changes, can we think of a way that the Emperor would go Chaos?
I don't think he would.
Like, if he was a Chaos God, like he was Malal, like that's a theory. What if that happened?
Well, if that happened, he still hates the Chaos Gods. So, if he was Malal, he'd hate them more.
Chaos God himself.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he'd like the other Chaos Gods. He'd still stay loyal to himself.
Yeah, I think all the Chaos Gods are loyal to themselves, and all the Chaos Gods hate each other, so that's fair.
Well, that's ironic because, Chaos Undivided, for example, they don't worship the Chaos Gods individually most of the time. Most of the time they worship them as a whole, which they call the Primordial Annihilator. Sometimes they worship one over the other, in which case they worship them more like a pantheon style. But I actually have to say that I don't actually support the theory that the Emperor is Malal. I don't see that much evidence to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's the whole, Malal's the god of unbelief, but the thing is that...
Actually, he's more like the god of anarchy than anything else.
Yeah, the Emperor was very orderly, and Malal doesn't really fit. And he doesn't exist anymore.
Personality crisis.
He doesn't even exist. So that's a big problem that the theorists...
It's exactly what Malal wants you to think.
Well, maybe Malal doesn't exist. And so can't exist.
That's how he likes it.
Well, yeah.
Well, in the current continuity, the Sons of Malice technically exist, and they technically exist, but it doesn't actually, I don't think it states what god they worship, and it's obvious they don't like Chaos any more than they like the Imperium, but, there's no concrete evidence that they never actually mentioned Malal in, there's no continuity right now. So it's not impossible for him to exist, it's just they never stated it outright.
Maybe, actually, Rogel Dawn could, get pissed off with the Emperor a lot, somehow, and get pissed off with all the other Primarchs for joining Chaos, and hate Chaos so much, because he does, that he joins Malal.
That would be interesting, actually.
Yeah, that's actually...
We haven't considered Malal, and I think it actually fits quite nicely for a few of these.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
What was the planet that Lorga built again? What was it called? The perfect world? I don't remember the name. But anyways, I think if Dawn saw how the Emperor destroyed it, maybe he would get that similar hatred to the Emperor as Lorga did. Because it was a really perfect city.
Who? Wait, what? Sorry, my audio muted when you said... My audio crackles in and out a bit. Which person?
Dorn. He would change because he saw how the Emperor destroyed the perfect city that Lorga built. Maybe that would be the spark.
Maybe. Or maybe the Emperor would, condemn him to go kill one of his brothers that he liked, and he was like, nah, fuck you, Emperor, but fuck Chaos at the same time. I'll go.
I also have a feeling that if Dorn switched over, he'd probably be really blunt about it, and then he would just up sticks and leave, be really abrupt. And
he walks straight. He walks straight up to the Emperor. Emperor, I'm joining Malal. Goodbye. The Emperor's like, are you going to conquer any of my land? And Zorn's like, not Zorn. Dawn's like, probably not. And the Emperor's like, okay, cool, fuck off. Because...
You know what? I just had this little idea in my head, Zorn's actually an alternate continuity, Rogel Dawn, where he actually joined Malal.
Oh my god! Instead of being Zorniskull, he's Dornikal. Oh my god. This fits perfectly. He's gonna be so pissed off when he finds out about this.
Which he will.
Which he will. He probably won't, actually. He probably won't listen to the podcast, but we can always tell him.
Yeah, he'd go listen to the podcast and just be like, yeah, crap, shit, that's crap, okay, that's kind of funny. And then go like, oh my god, they mentioned me.
Oh my god, they found out my secret. Immediately deletes account and goes into hiding for 7 years.
He wouldn't do that. He'd instead probably delete all of our accounts and then laugh about it.
Yeah.
Anarchy and stuff.
Yeah, he'd probably just laugh in our faces and like, oh, you figured it out finally. Ha, this only took you like 3 years.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Maybe.
After all these years, you finally found me. Right, so Horus... No, wait, so... Lehman Russ, Khorne. Ferrus Manus Nurgle. Fulgrim is loyal still, sorry. Vulcan, undivided most likely. Rogel Dawn, Malice, or Malal. Robert Gilman, undivided most likely. Sanguinius, Khorne. Lionel Johnson, Zinch. Jagatai Khan, Slanesh. Alfarius is loyal still.
I still like the idea of Sanguinius being Slanesh, but maybe it's just because Mara's Slanesh stuff.
Well,
you know what? You know what?
There can always be...
look at. Go ahead.
I mean, like, as you said, there's the whole thing about him sacrificing himself, and he could always think, "Oh fuck it, I really don't give a shit about my legion," and he goes to Slanesh, but his legion, because of the Red Thirst, stays Khorne. So it's kind of a split.
You see, that's the thing. If the Red Thirst stayed, they would go to Khorne. That's really, how would it play out? Like, if Maris jumped down the hole, then of course they stay loyal.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe Maris just died at some point.
Jumped down the hole. Yeah, and if Sanguinius jumped down the hole, it would be Slanesh, more likely. Like, they could still be loyal, but they wouldn't have a Primarch. And yeah, they would probably fall to Slanesh.
I imagine, like, Maros in full, like, swimming gear, and Sanguinius there too, like, on diving boards, preparing to jump into a giant pit. And then Maros does it first. And they're like the watchers in the dark at the top with like scorecards. Like 3, 7, mysterious chaotic symbol, 10. So Horus, I imagine we've got to now discuss why they would stay. Horus, I imagine, because he would get communicated to via Magnus and not join Chaos when that vision happens. When, you know, that vision, that one time, in that one place.
Also, I just had an idea about, it involves Magnus, Leman Russ, and the way Magnus trying to contact the Emperor. For example, if this was going to be more like an opposite thing, would the Emperor actually listen, like, would it work, or would it still collapse the webway?
I imagine
would
that...
Leman Russ still invade Prospero?
I think that he could still collapse the webway, but because in the canon he doesn't deliver the news, I think if he delivered the news and stayed to fight the demons, or helped fight the demons in some way, I think that could help. I think the Emperor might be like, you're going to get punished, but I won't kill you, and I'll probably do it after this whole heresy thing's over.
Also, would Leman Russ still invade Prospero, and if he did, would it be under the banner of Chaos?
Yeah.
To destroy Magnus, because he just fucking hates Magnus, really, really, really just hates Magnus.
Leman Russ is a dick, and I don't like the Space Wolves. They're all the people who play rugby. They're all like, people who play rugby are usually fun, but like,
they're basically Vikings in space.
They're space alcoholics.
They're not going to be likable. Yeah.
They're space aggressive alcoholics.
I really love them though. Well, they are pretty cool.
I mean, they look cool because they're space Vikings, but I mean, no. Most of the Space Wolves are really cool, but Leman Russ is just a dick.
Okay, so let's say Leman Russ invades Prospero, like in the current continuity, but he does it for Chaos instead of for Horus. He thinks it's the Emperor, obviously, given the order. But if he invaded Prospero, would it still go down the same way? I mean, obviously Magnus isn't for Chaos anymore. So
was Magnus there when Prospero got burned?
Yes, he actually transported what was left of his legion, using the warp, I believe.
Right. So it would have gone down the same. I reckon. Was anyone near Was anyone near him at the time? Was anyone near
I honestly do not remember.
any of the Chaos forces near him? Because the burning of Prospero made him turn to Chaos, and if the Emperor hadn't decreed it, and if Chaos burnt down Prospero, he'd definitely be against Chaos. I mean, think about it.
Well,
So,
for example, like maybe Russ. So
I reckon-
maybe Magnus figures out that it was Chaos, leaning Russ under Chaos that attacked, and that's why he remained loyal instead of joining Chaos because burn your home world. I'm not going to join you.
yeah, that's what I...
He never figured out Horus ordered it like under Chaos, so that's why he joined Chaos because he was tricked. That's funny. The guy that's with Zinch got tricked.
Right.
But
All Fulgrim needs to not join Slanesh is to not come into contact with the Layer Blade. And maybe Ferrus Manus could come into contact with the Layer Blade.
And you could still come into contact, but maybe beat the demon.
Maybe.
Or somebody, like Lorgar found out that he was possessed by the demon, but he just didn't care to save his brother. He left the demon in charge. So what about instead, not Lorgar found out about it, but no wait, still Lorgar found out about it, but Lorgar was loyalist, so of course he would rip the demon away from Fulgrim.
Yeah.
And get Fulgrim back into his body. I'm not even sure if Lorgar could do that, but yeah, there's certainly some kind of way.
I mean, he was a pretty powerful psyker, so he probably could have done.
Yeah, he was because he joined Chaos, though. He was absolutely...
Well, but all the Primarchs
absolutely a baby.
All the Primarchs had some psychic potential in them, even if it was just limited.
Yeah, but Lorgar was the weakest one before he joined Chaos.
Yeah, but I don't know, maybe, like, seeing his brother Chaosy, or maybe he just got, like, Magnus or the Emperor to do it. Maybe he just, like, alerted other people and was like, hey, he's possessed by a demon, and the Emperor was like, well, that shit's not happening. Boom, gone.
Wait, I've got another idea, actually, for giving Lorgar power, something else that nobody really figures how it works is the faith. The faith thing that the Sister Sororitas have.
That's because the Emperor's a Chaos God.
That's like warp power by the Emperor.
It's because the Emperor's a Chaos God.
Yeah, probably. And
he's not Malal, but he's a Chaos God.
Yeah, he probably is.
Well, actually, I heard one person use the terminology in case say Chaos God per se, but he said Warp God, and he used Warp God of Order kind of thing.
Yeah, he's the Chaos God of Order, which makes no sense, but he's...
That's why he used the word Warp God instead. For example, like technically the Eldar gods are also warp-based entities, but they're not really considered Chaos gods per se.
Yeah.
So I guess he used the same kind of terminology with that.
Yeah.
All the Chaos gods are emotions. The Emperor would just be the emotion of order and loyalty to mankind.
Yeah.
Okay, back on topic. So instead of getting power by the warp powers that are Chaos demons, you would get power by being disfaithful to the Emperor and having faith powers. Like, still be a powerful psyker, but
that would be interesting. He basically
but the thing is that no one would...
Yeah, exactly.
No one would worship the Emperor, so the Emperor wouldn't have the psychic power of the worship to...
Well, it's not necessarily true, because even if, like for example, it's like, after the Emperor is installed on the Golden Throne, was like, let's just, go along with the fact that at some point, the whatever replaces Horus as, probably like Guilliman or something, replaces Horus as... No, it would be Sanguinius, wouldn't it?
It would be Sanguinius or Guilliman.
Because I think, like, Guilliman's undivided like Horus was, so it'd be a lot easier for him to join the other Chaos together.
Also, Sanguinius wouldn't have control. Sanguinius wouldn't have control over his legion.
So I'm thinking that, let's say, the Emperor is still like mortally wounded, but on the Golden that stuff, and they would probably still have the whole worshipping the Emperor as a god thing afterward. So that would actually change the landscape, like the political and religious landscape of the Imperium a lot if the Primarchs were opposites, because they actually had a lot of bearing on how the Imperium functioned after the Emperor was interned, especially Guilliman, who wrote the Codex Astartes.
I mean, Guilliman wrote the Codex Astartes, so there'd still be the legions afterwards.
So that the legions would still be legions, the Imperial army would still be the navy and the guard, it wouldn't be separated. And, well... Maybe
there'd be another future heresy. Of, I don't know, fucking Mortarion, because no shit he was going to go to Nurgle. Right, so
Yeah.
we've got to concentrate on why people stayed loyal. Magnus the Red would have stayed loyal because Prospero got burnt by Leman Russ, who's a Cornate. Puerto Rabo, he doesn't really... He's Chaos Undivided and he does it because he's strong. But in this scenario, I'm fairly sure there are actually more... he probably just picked the winning side, the Emperor. Because I think there are more legions on the side of the Emperor in this scenario. Are there?
Actually, I don't think it's like rough even like that.
Well,
because I think it was.
I think he'd probably just pick the winning side because he was all about strength and stuff, wasn't he?
Also, one thing I was thinking about, since we're talking about like opposite sides with that, how would the rebellion on Mars go down? Do you think?
I don't know much about that.
Well, it's the fabricated general and a large portion of the Mechanicus decided to join Horus and Chaos because they wanted more autonomy.
The Dark Mechanicus.
Then the fabricated Locum remained loyal to the Emperor along with about half the rest of the Mechanicus.
That could corrupt Ferrus Manus. They could want to become the Dark Mechanicum. And then they go to Ferrus Manus and be like, we can give you this fancy technology if you join us too and give us the strength of your legion. And Ferrus Manus is like, more metal. And then joins them.
Yeah, that would make sense, actually.
That makes sense. Because that's why he turned to Chaos. Puerto Rabo. He'd stay loyal because he just felt like it. There's not really a reason.
Also, another thing I was thinking about is the other forces of the Imperium that turned to Chaos, like the regiments and the naval forces and all that stuff. For example, I'm not sure how much difference it would make in the long run, but it would certainly change a couple of things. Like there was a betrayal on Cadia.
The majority of the Imperial Guard stuff in the Great Crusade was not doing war, really. It was like a peacekeeping force. It stopped rebellions if they sprung up and things like that, and it like...
Well, I understand what I'm saying, but during the actual heresy, there were actually a great number of regiments and expeditionary fleets that were used by both the loyalists and
the traitors,
heretics and the traitors, because they were growing desperate due to the sheer size and scale of the war they were raging against each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they kind of play an even part. They're not really... I mean, as much as I love God, I don't think they were really that pivotal.
Well, mostly I was just wondering about some of key events that would be different.
Well,
for example, because
Talon probably wouldn't get invaded by the Iron Warriors. But I'd imagine it would probably get invaded because it's got the Chaos artifact beneath the surface. Is that Chaos Undivided? Is that artifact affiliated with anyone?
I do not recall.
I don't think it is because Iron Warriors are undivided. So I reckon it would be, maybe Vulcan comes and tries to get the artifact. But of course, he probably wouldn't use virus bombs because he's not as brutal as Puerto Rabo.
He'd burn it all though.
There's no way really to do that from orbit. I mean, there's Exterminatus, but that has a high risk of destroying the artifact you want to get.
And now if you're using something that won't burn metal but only burns flesh, like phosphorus.
Yeah, but I doubt you could do that from orbit. Maybe you could. But I envision a land invasion of him burning stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
Also, I think about what the personality of Vulcan would be after he turned to Chaos. It's like he's all friendly and crap before. What would he be like afterward?
I mean, Vulcan likes his fellow man, doesn't he? So I imagine that maybe afterwards he likes his fellow man being torched alive. I don't know why he turned to Chaos.
Well,
maybe he just...
Well done.
Maybe in this reality, Vulcan's just a pyromaniac.
That makes sense, Lanesh. Woo!
Well, no, not necessarily. Maybe. He's Chaos Undivided. He's the only other Chaos Undivided person we have, so we pretty much have to keep him undivided.
Well, it's
we
not just
gotta,
that, like,
we gotta get more
members
finish.
of Chaos Undivided will sometimes worship one god a little bit more than the others, or worship two gods a little bit over the others, because, like, obviously Chaos Undivided is Chaos Undivided, but not all of them worship the Primordial Annihilator as all the Chaos gods together.
Yeah, like, in Roman
For
mythology,
example,
people would worship, like, one of them more, but they'd still worship them all.
Yeah.
They won't worship one of them a lot more, but they probably still worship them all. Right, so, like, Talon wouldn't happen. A few other things wouldn't happen. Robert Gilman, I imagine he would be made the War Master and go against the Emperor because he thinks he can do the Imperium better with Chaos, because he knows that you can't really win against Chaos, which is true. And so is like, okay, we're going to redo the Imperium with Chaos. The Emperor's like, no, and then Robert Gilman's like, we shall conquer it then.
yeah, that's pretty much what Lorga did.
Well, yeah, but Robert Gilman does it, and because he's Robert Gilman, everyone follows him, who's evil. Rogel Dawn would go to Malal because I guess he'd just see everyone else warring and get pissed off and bugger off somewhere. Like the Jericho Reach or something, I don't know. They're like unexplored places. Just carries on the Great Crusade, but hates the Emperor and hates the Chaos God, and so joins Malal along the way.
Well, what if after Gilliman already joined Chaos and already does Chaos stuff, and so Rogel Dawn sets out to kill Gilliman, and he's the one that does the betrayal on Calth, but the Emperor doesn't yet know about it, so falls into Dawn's steps, and Dawn's now pissed off about him.
Like Istvan 3, how would that turn out?
I have no idea what happened there.
Oh,
It would have gone a little bit. I mean, it would have had like more or less the same consequential outcome, but the actual forces involved would change. The overarching theme of the battle, probably, for example, like the it depends on who's there exactly, because not all the legions were present for the drop zone massacre.
yeah, like the Sons of Horus were present, meaning the Ultramarines who are their counterparts in this reality would probably also be present.
Yeah.
Whereas really they were buggering around at Calth. And I mean, we either do the Calth thing or you do this thing. It depends. We'd have to work on the specifics, because that's a complicated battle.
Very.
So, people fight there. It turns out pretty much the same. Really. I mean, because this is opposites, Chaos could win in this version.
Maybe. But if they win, that would basically cripple the Imperial Army. And,
but if Chaos wins in the Horus Heresy, it kind of sucks. Because none of the interesting stuff happens.
Yeah.
Actually, if Chaos wins, does Chaos win? Because
No, because Chaos would starve and die.
Because the force that fights it. So if Chaos has no more non-Chaos, how does that even work?
Because Horus would kill humanity. The point is that at this point there were technical difficulties. Don't worry, however, the rest of the conversation was actually recorded separately to this and will be uploaded in a part 2. It was quite long.